Hi, I'm Rick Sommer, President of Intellitec Solutions. Thanks for joining me today. This session's about what you should know about Sage Intacct for senior living. But what it's really about is making sure the system works the way it should for you. And that's where Intellitec comes in. You're in senior living. You have census-driven revenue, tight budgets, multiple care levels, and external pressures for you and your team. You don't need a generic system. You need a system that works for you the way it should. That's where Sage Intacct comes in, and that's the difference that Intellitec makes for our senior living clients. Sage Intacct is a best-in-class true cloud application. It's secure, endorsed by the AICPA, and flexible to handle complex reporting and accounting needs. But let's be clear, software is only part of the story. What really matters is how it's implemented and who's going to guide you through your implementation journey. Intellitec has done this for hundreds of senior living organizations across the country. Whether you're skilled, independent living, assisted living, memory care, home care, foundations, you name it, we've done it. Every time we work with our clients, we build a system that meets their individual needs and deliver a solution that adds value and increases efficiencies for their operations. One of the key benefits of Intacct is the multi-dimensional structure it has, which is unique. This is how Sage Intacct replaces those old segmented chart of accounts, where you have segments of a very long account string and try to remember that this segment represented the facility, the next level of care, another payer type, another department. It gets to be confusing, and reports are difficult to manage, update, and support. And this is critical. The dimensions make such a huge difference for senior living if they're set up the right way. Many partners don't understand that, but Intellitec does. We've seen what happens when dimensions are not set up correctly. Many times we're brought in after a failed implementation for a senior living organization, and we have to re-implement and clean up the mess that was left behind. We build dimensions right from the first time. For your PPD reports, dashboards, to your board reporting, we make sure your structure is intact and set up the right way so you can get the reports and operational aspects out of the system that you and your organization need. Many times we're brought into a new client that has not been implemented correctly. They're not getting the reports out of the system. They're operating in inefficient modes and methods. And when we're brought in, we typically meet with them and review the setup and configuration. And we typically determine that the partner or the implementation team they went with was not experienced with the senior living industry. They didn't understand the unique reporting requirements and some of the functional requirements that are needed to have efficiencies within those operations. So we're able to review with them their current status, help determine a plan to help get them re-implemented correctly and get on the right path for success. Now let's take a look at Sage Intacct dashboards that are built within the system. They're real-time, can be role-based, and provide the necessary information to your management team on what they need to see and monitor on a daily basis. You want to see margin by level of care, revenue by caregiver, private pay trends by the facility, changes in payer types. These are kind of things that can be easily displayed through a dashboard so that your team can see and track progress of your organization. In this particular case, we have a skilled nursing example with multiple different locations going across in a column or format, along with our revenue and expenses generating our PPD reports. Scanning down a little bit further, we can see the payer mix and tracking our revenue per resident day as we progress through the fiscal year. Also on the dashboard, we have these performance cards at the top that can be configured for the particular role and responsibility areas of the people that are consuming the dashboard. So here we're seeing trending with resident days, revenue per caregiver, and the number of caregivers that provided services for this reporting period. So the importance of this dashboard to the skilled nursing manager is they can see trends not only on a monthly basis, but compared among the different locations or facilities that they're responsible for. So these trends and this information provided on a daily basis can give them the information they need to make informed decisions and provide better resident care as the alternative to waiting until month-end processes are done and getting a report 2 or 3 weeks after the month end when it's too late to take corrective and proactive action. These are built-in, real-time, role-based displays of information to the appropriate people based upon their role and areas of responsibility. They're not just canned reports, they're not static. These are real-time dashboards with information that the department manager needs to have to make proactive, informed decisions. These are dashboards that we have experience in building for our other senior living clients, and we can build them for you too. There are templates that give us a starting point, but Intellitec takes them further and gives you actually what you and your team need to see to make those proactive, informed decisions. In this particular case, we have a dashboard for the assisted living operations of this organization. Again, in a columnar format, we have different locations, and we have the net income and operating expenses for the assisted living operations. Again, at the top, these performance cards can be configured and tailored for the area of responsibility and the role of the person. In this case, we're tracking revenue per occupied unit, and our occupancy rate. Going down to the bottom of the reports, we can track our occupied units, our number of occupied units, our occupancy rates, and our revenue per occupied units. So we can track this information real time, and the department manager can make informed decisions about how they're doing. But if there's questions, how do we get those questions answered? Historically, you had to wait for the accounting department to get back to your email and find out what's going on, and that's only if they really understood what your question was. But now the department manager can go ahead and do their own analysis. So for example, if I'm wondering why the Emerald location had general and administrative expenses of $18,000, I can click on that number and I'm presented with the summary of the GL accounts that support that $18,000 number. And I can see it's travel, meals and miscellaneous, and office supplies. And if I have a question about what this adjustment journal entry was for $750, I, as a department manager, can just click on that. And then I'm presented with the actual transaction that was used to enter this into the system, including an attachment, so I can see what the supporting documentation was for this transaction. I can see the accounts that were affected, including the dimension structures of the facility and level of care, including any correspondence of collaborate discussions that were done on this specific transaction. I can also see the history of the transaction from top to bottom about who created it and the steps it went through to be processed and posted through the system, including comments from the accounting team as they went ahead and processed the transaction through the approval processes. In addition, a complete audit trail can be seen here, looking at the transaction from the start at the bottom all the way through completion, which not only includes the users that touched this transaction, but systematically with our internal controls and workflow processes that were set up to route the transaction correctly to the appropriate approvers to follow our internal compliance controls to make sure this transaction was approved by the right people and tracked changes of fields that may have been changed through the process with what their values were both before and after the change. So the importance of this is that right from our dashboard, a department manager can see trends and information that's important to them and has the ability to drill down and do their own analysis and answer their own questions without putting additional burden on the accounting department to get answers for them. The dashboards that we create for our clients are a culmination of our years of experience working with senior living organizations. We've seen what has worked and what has not worked, and we take our best practices and options and we present those to our clients so they can make an informed decision and decide what's the best configuration for them based upon what we have developed already. So we're not starting from ground zero, we're presenting options to them based upon their specific needs, their specific industry, and what has worked for other senior living clients as well. Another really important factor to these reports and information is our Intellitec solution, which provides a daily integration with point-click care to bring cash and census information over into Sage Intacct, so that as these department managers and the accounting staff are looking at this information, they can look at real-time information and know exactly where they stand. They do not need to wait until the end of the month or keep side schedules and Excel spreadsheets to know how they're doing throughout the month. These real-time dashboards that Intellitec puts together, optimized for their particular needs, gives them what they need to know, when they need to know it on a daily basis. While Sage Intacct does have APIs, and there are other rudimentary tools out there that are designed for generic EMR type applications, the Intellitec application was specifically designed for Sage Intacct and point-click care to make sure it, on a daily basis, it automatically brings those transactions from point-click care in. And then at the end of the month, it goes and produces a month-end reconciliation adjustment entry so that all the information is properly recorded within Sage Intacct. There's a misconception in the marketplace that some generic EMR connection tools that are available for any kind of medical organization can do the same thing that our Intellitec Intellitec solution can do, and that's just simply not the case. Intellitec is specifically designed for point-click care and Sage Intacct and can bring those transactions over on an automated basis, on a daily basis. The other thing is sometimes your GL coding structures are not consistent between point-click care, between your payroll system, and Sage Intacct. Intellitec can map those transactions from disparate GL account structures in those other operational systems and remap them to the very flexible and powerful dimension structures within your Sage Intacct so that your transactions come over in the right dimensions and the right accounts, so you can have real-time accurate reporting directly from those operational systems. Accounts payable automation is a really hot topic today. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of options in the marketplace, and one of the values that Intellitec brings to the table is to help determine which AP automation solution is best for you and your particular needs. Sage software does have built-in AP automation using artificial intelligence to invoice transactions directly from vendors that they can email into an email address. Sage Intacct will receive that email, code the invoice, and set it up within the accounts payable screens of Intacct, along with the attachment of the invoice, and then put it in draft mode so that the AP team can review it and determine if this transaction is coded correctly. Then they can go ahead and submit it so it goes through the regular AP approval process within Sage Intacct. In addition to the built-in AP automation of Sage Intacct, there are a variety of options in the marketplace today. Bill.com, Paymerang, PN3, AvidXchange, and a variety of payroll systems out there that integrate with Sage Intacct too, including ADP, Paycom, UKG. One of the strengths of Intellitec is to help make sure that you have the right solution for your particular needs, and then work on the integration to make sure that those systems are bringing in the transactions in the correct way in your Sage Intacct system. Because we're great. So you might be wondering, why should you work with Intellitec? We've helped hundreds of senior living organizations successfully implement Sage Intacct and have integrations with their clinical software systems like point-click care. We've been doing this for over 35 years, and we have a very strong team with a lot of experience. How are we different? I like to say we're the right size. We have an extensive consulting bench of consultants that have experience with your industry, so we have the resources to give you the support and implementation assistance that you need. But also, we're not so large that you're going to get assigned the next consultant on a bench of 100 people that maybe you've not met before and maybe doesn't know anything about your industry. You can be guaranteed that you have a team that understands your industry, understands your needs, will have a personal relationship with you, and will be here long term to not only help you with doing your implementation, but be here to support you as your journey through Sage Intacct progresses and you get the benefit of more and more technology as you deploy it. One of the frustrations we hear from our clients is during the sales evaluation process, they tried to explain what they were looking for out of the system, and trying to explain what a PPD report is to someone when they don't even understand your industry is a huge red flag. So you need to make sure that you are talking to a consulting group that understands your industry, has references of your industry, has the longevity of working with clients within your industry, and will be a long-term partner of yours today and many years to come. So here's the bottom line. Sage Intacct is an incredible financial tool, but that's only part of the puzzle. As we've discussed, the partner that implements it for you is equally as important. That's where Intellitec steps in. Our experience with senior living and our references, our client testimonials show that you're making a safe choice by picking Intellitec as your implementation partner today and your long-term support partner to help you down the road. Let's talk about what's possible for you and see how we can help you with your new ERP decision process.